At this point, I'm privileged and honored to invite the president of Congregation Agudath Israel, Matt Fischer, to share a few words with you all. I think you know this, but in case you don't, nothing happens at this synagogue without the partnership, the essential partnership between the clergy, the staff, and our lay leaders. Nothing happens here without that. This community happens because of this sacred partnership between us, the Board of Trustees, the volunteers, the committees, and we are so grateful for the warm, supportive, caring relationship that we have with each other and the way in which this relationship helps move this congregation forward. I can't say enough about Matt Fischer and how wonderful he is and how dedicated he is to this community and how much of his time and energy he's invested to try and make CAI what it is today. I'm grateful that he's going to share a few reflections with us this morning. I'm grateful he's my partner as president of this congregation in leading this congregation forward, and I'll leave the rest for him to share with you. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom. As the high holidays were approaching, people began to offer me suggestions for what I should include in my speech this year. Just last night, an individual stopped me after Kol Nidre to say, "You probably already wrote your speech, but you should say something about this." I said, I got pretty good reviews on my speech last year, so I'm sticking with that one. I made a few changes. This morning, I'm going to first reflect on the past year and highlight some accomplishments, including our new mission statement, and share what I hope to achieve in the year ahead. Then, I will let you in on a personal update and close with my call to action. Sound good? Good. Throughout the year, as synagogue president, I'm often asked, how's it going? But it's not the happy, positive, how's it going? It's the longer, skeptical, so, how's it going? Like they know there's a secret that I'm not telling them. Well, I'll let you in on the secret. I spoke a lot about gratitude last year, and my feelings have not changed. I'm still grateful for this opportunity. I've met so many wonderful people over the past year, some for just a couple of minutes, and with others, I've engaged in long, meaningful conversations. All of these interactions have brought me closer to you, and I'm grateful to be able to lead this community to which I feel so connected. Thank you for putting your confidence in me and in the Board of Trustees. I'm grateful to our Board of Trustees, led by our Executive Committee, including our Senior Vice President, Debbie Rosen, Shani Drogan, Dori Eisenstein, Dan Fishman, Seth Fliegler, Lisa Mechanic, Scott Reiser, and Jordan Shimofsky. I'm grateful to our incredible clergy, Rabbi Lucas, Cantor Kaplan, Susan Work, Rabbi Silverstein, and our newest addition, Rabbi Drill, and our entire staff for all your hard work throughout the year, and especially during these high holy days. And I'm grateful to my family. Thank you for your insight, advice, and providing me with the space to take on this responsibility. During the spring of 2023, I had a conversation with Adam Chandler about what to expect when I take over as president in a few months. Adam advised me to focus on 2 or 3 core goals, but remember, he said, something always comes up that surprises us. And as my father-in-law loves to say, we make plans and God laughs. Well, I don't believe God has been laughing, but God certainly had other plans. 12 days following my Yom Kippur address last year, Israel was attacked and thrust into a war, and we've experienced anti-Semitism in this country and across the world at levels not experienced since the Holocaust. Still, our fantastic professional team and lay leaders stayed focused. Some things were adjusted, some reprioritized, but we were able to continue to move forward toward accomplishing our goals. As many of you know, we completed a large milestone achievement this year with the establishment of our new mission statement, discovering the joy, purpose, and power of Jewish life together. discovering the joy, purpose, and power of Jewish life together. Our task force, led by Morris Lewis and Jackie Haney, and made up of a diverse subset of our community, touched over 250 people through parlor meetings, surveys, and one-on-one discussions. You will find our complete mission statement, including our mission, vision, and values, in the center of your annual report that you should pick up in the lobby if you haven't already. Both the process and the results of our focus groups highlighted how diverse our community is, demographically, politically, socioeconomically, and yet how similar we are with regard to what drove us to CAI, the ways in which we connect with CAI, and why we support this beautiful institution. Our incredible task force put an intentional emphasis within our mission statement on together. It can be in our beautiful sanctuary for Shabbat or Purim, but we may also be together at a small program in someone's home or volunteering together in the community. As long as members of Congregation Agudath Israel are together, we are strengthening our connections to CAI and to each other. In addition to the mission statement, last year I presented you with two core goals: financial stability and increasing our engagement. And this year, my goals remain relatively unchanged. However, now that our mission statement has been created, I am hoping to wrap these near-term goals into planning for our long-term success. And so, we are now in the very early stages of developing a strategic plan. This plan will account for our financial resources while being guided by our mission statement. While the strategic plan may or may not be completed during my term, I'm excited to launch the process. Regarding my first goal of financial stability, through careful budgeting and fundraising efforts, the Board of Trustees has significantly improved our financial position. Thanks to the hard work of our lay leaders, led by Jordan Shamovsky, Gail Wiesnick, and Shani Drogan, and your generosity, we've increased the number of households donating to the annual fund, and we are moving back directionally toward where we were before COVID. This year, for the first time in decades, if not forever, we attempted to personally contact every single one of the more than 800 family units in our community to ask for your participation in the annual fund. Thank you to everyone who contributed, including 100% of the members of the Board of Trustees. The annual fund closes our funding gap between dues and tuition and our expenses, which supports our programming and subsidizes our early childhood center and religious school. In short, the annual fund enables us to keep the lights on. Thank you again, Gail Wiesnick and Shani Drogan, and also Mindy Opper, for your leadership in our centennial campaign. We raised substantial funds to help us work toward paying down our mortgage. With their leadership, and again, your generosity, we paid down $1.7 million of our mortgage this summer alone, reducing our mortgage expenses by more than half. We have more work to do and likely difficult decisions to make, but we need to keep moving in this direction to ensure not only our survival, but that we will remain a vibrant, thriving community. Regarding my second goal, increasing our engagement, I had asked in my Yom Kippur address last year that everyone try a new program, event, or committee this year at CAI, and I'm happy to say many of you did. While one could theorize that my call to action is the reason, I do acknowledge that the events of October 7th and the historic rise in anti-Semitism was a catalyst for Jews in and outside of our community to act, perhaps a bright light in what has been a dark year for Jews. To paraphrase Douglas Murray, an author and staunch supporter of Israel, after October 7th, flares were sent up into the sky, and we could now see clearly who our friends are, who will stand with the Jewish community, and who will abandon us. The shock many of us felt on October 8th brought us closer to one another, and I hope you found the CAI community to be a safe space to take pride in our Jewish identity and to comfortably gather with, grieve with, and yes, celebrate with friends. This past year, we marched together in Washington, D.C. and New York City. We showed up in force to our flagship programs, such as our annual concert, Super Bowl Shabbat, the Purim Carnival, and Comedy Night, among many other programs, events, and classes. Our Combating Anti-Semitism initiative, led by Max Kleinman and Grace Sumka, conducted programs and seminars to help our community face the rise in anti-Semitism and better prepare our children for high school and college. And to clearly show our support and love of Israel with our actions, since October 7th last year, CAI has organized 3 separate missions to Israel, not to mention the dozens of our adults, teenagers, and families who have visited Israel independently. And in addition to all of this, every week, a special intergenerational group gathers together, enjoying Shabbat services and a nice kiddush lunch, a prime example of the warm, welcoming community that we are. There's a special vibe in this building and in this community, and I felt it so strong during these high holidays. I hope that you feel it too. The power and richness in the sound of the shofar during Rosh Hashanah services. I can't wait to hear the final sounds this evening. The strength in the voices of Cantor Kaplan, our choir, and all of our many daveners. The thought-provoking words of Rabbi Lucas, Rabbi Drill, and Sam Lurie. The buzz of children in our hallways and in the sanctuary searching for lollipops. So, how do we keep up this momentum? This is where I need your help. CAI has something for everyone, and we are working on better ways to communicate and notify you of all the great opportunities for you and your family. But, at least for now, please take a peek at our Tuesday and Friday emails. If there's a committee or a program that sounds interesting, sign up. If you're not sure how to get involved, ask me, or one of our wonderful Board of Trustees members wearing the green and yellow lanyards. We can all be more engaged. I'll come back to my call to action in a moment, but first I'm going to share a personal update. Last year, I mentioned that my background is in finance and investing, and I had launched a medical device company in 2018. Well, this past year, we exited our business. I remember a few days after October 7th last year, watching the news, and a reporter asked an Israeli, "How are you feeling?" The individual responded, "Now is not the time to feel. Now is the time to do." This resonated with me, and with free time in my schedule, I took advantage of the opportunity to participate on CAI's second volunteer mission to Israel this past April. Then in May, I visited Poland with my mom. Her father, my grandfather, is a Holocaust survivor. We participated in the March of the Living, a walk from the death camps of Auschwitz to Birkenau, the places where many of my great-aunts, uncles, and cousins were murdered. The combination of these 2 trips was eye-opening. In 1939, Poland was a country where 3.4 million Jews, although not permitted the same freedoms as other citizens, had thriving communities. 85 years later, there are now less than 20,000 Jewish citizens of Poland. This is not an exception. This is the story of Jews throughout the diaspora. We should not take for granted our freedom here in the United States, and we should not take the existence of Israel for granted either. Israel is the one country in the world where Jews are the majority and have earned their right to self-determination. New York Times opinion columnist Bret Stephens wrote just last week, "To imagine we can do without Israel is to forget how close we came to extinction before it was born." There are 27 Muslim countries and 33 official Christian countries, but there is only one Jewish state. For a long time before, and especially after October 7th, I had been contemplating whether I could leverage my professional background toward a career in the Jewish world. I could continue watching the news and screaming at my television, or I could do something. Well, I still find myself yelling at the television. But following my transformative trips to Israel and Poland this spring, I decided for perhaps the final chapter in my professional life to find a career supporting Israel and the Jewish people. In July, I accepted an offer with AIPAC as director of the Wall Street division, still in my old neighborhood, but now singularly focused on advocating for and strengthening the U.S.-Israel relationship. Almost 3 months in, and I'm excited to be part of this important mission-driven organization. With all that said, back to my call to action. Now, I'm not going to ask anyone to start a new career or anything, but I know that we can all do more. Just as I said last year, I encourage everyone to try a new CAI activity this year, just one new program, event, committee, or volunteer opportunity. Over the past year, we have come to learn how important it is to be part of a Jewish community. Building a foundation for our children and or our grandchildren can start right here at CAI. I know we are busy. I know it's not easy to find the time, but we need to prioritize Jewish identity, life, and learning. I hope that you will identify and take advantage of the things that CAI offers. I hope that you will strengthen and find your connections to CAI. In return, I know it will strengthen us as a community and help us all to fulfill our mission to discover the joy, purpose, and power of Jewish life together. Have an easy, meaningful fast. Gamar Chatima Tova. May you be inscribed for good. Thank you.